Hey everyone, I hope you guys had a great weekend. So far, a great week. This week we're going to start with solving one-step equations with variables. And then I also want to look at solving some word problems with you. So for one-step equations, we have to remember our inverse operations. So the operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Addition and subtraction are inverse of each other, and multiplication and division are inverse of each other. So inverse operations just means that they'll negate each other. So if you multiply a number, so if you multiply 2 times 3, you'll get 6. And then if you divide 6 by 3, you'll get 2. So they just take you back to your starting point. So if we look at number 1, we have to identify our variable. So our variable is C. So our variable is C. So C is connected to 3 by division. So the inverse of division, inverse means opposite, is multiplication. So we need to multiply by 3. Remember, whatever we do to one side of our equation, we have to do to the other side. So we're also going to have to multiply 9 times 3. So on the left, our multiplied by 3 and divided by 3 are going to cancel each other out. So all we're left with is our variable. So over here we're left with our variable of C. Bring down our equal sign. And over here we have 9 times 3. So 9 times 3 is 27. And we can check that, check our answer by substituting our answer in for the variable in the original equation. So if we have 27 divided by 3 equals 9, (27) divided by 3 is 9. So our answer look like 9 equals 9. So if when we solve it, both sides are equal, we know that our answer is correct. So in number 2, first thing we have to do is identify our variable, which is k. And it is connected with a plus 2. So the opposite of plus 2 is minus 2. Remember, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. So our plus 2 and minus 2 are going to cancel each other out, leaving us with just k. And 8 minus 2 is 6. Again, we can go back to our original equation and substitute our answer in to check. So that would look like 8 equals 6. So we're going to substitute our number in for our variable, plus 2. Six plus 2 is 8. So it would be 8 equals 8. So as long as these two numbers are the same, our answer to our variable is correct. And number 3, we have 42 equals negative 6s. Our variable is s. And when there's no sign connecting the number and the variable, it is multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication or inverse operation is division. So we're going to divide by negative 6. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we're going to also divide 42 by negative 6. These two cancel each other out, leaving us with just s over here. And then we have 42 divided by negative 6. 42 divided by 6 would give us 7. And because 1 is a positive number and 1 is a negative number, our answer is going to be negative. Or if the signs are the same, it's positive. If the signs are different, our answer is negative. So our answer is negative 7. Moving on to number 4, we have negative 13 equals r over 5. First thing we need to do is identify our variable. So our variable is r. Okay. R is divided by 5. So we need to do the inverse of division, which is multiplication. So we're going to multiply times 5. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we're going to multiply our negative 13 by 5 as well. On the right, our divided by 5 and multiplied by 5 are going to cancel each other out, leaving us with just r. And on the left side, we have negative 13 times 5. 13 times 5 is 65, and we have a negative number and a positive number. So because the signs are different, it's going to be negative 65. For number 5, we have negative 6 times d equals negative 48. So the first thing we need to do is we need to identify our variable, which is d. Next thing we need to do is we need to identify how negative 6 is connected to D. Because there's no sign, that means it's multiplication. So we look for the inverse, and the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by negative 6. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we're also going to divide the right side by negative 6. These two are going to cancel each other out, leaving us with just D. And on the right, we have negative 48 divided by negative 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8. And both our numbers are negative, so the signs are the same, which means our answer is going to be positive. Our answer is D equals 8. Okay. I'm going to stop there on one-step equations, and I'm going to move on to word problems. So I do want to leave some time for that. So for our word problems, number 1 says Alyssa is baking a cake. The recipe calls for 9 cups of flour. She already put in 4 cups. How many more cups does she need to add? So we need to write an equation for this. So our total number of cups of flour is 9. So 9 is our total. And we've already put in 4, but we need to figure out how many more. So 4, and then to add more to it, keyword is add, we're going to put a plus sign because our operation is addition. 4 plus x equals 9. So that is what our equation is going to look like. Now when we solve it, we need to get x by itself. So the opposite of a plus 4 is minus 4. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And when we subtract 4 from both sides, we're left with x on the right, and 9 minus 4 is 5. So 5 equals x is our answer. For number 2, Mary has 44 books in her library. She bought several at a yard sale over the weekend. Now she has 83 books. So how many books did she buy at the yard sale? So we know that she started out with 44, and then she bought some, so we added to it. So we added X number of books, and now her total number of books equals 83. So your equation should be 44 plus X equals 83. To solve that, we have to do inverse operations. So the inverse of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 44 from both sides, because whatever we do to one side, we need to do to the other. So on the left side, we're just left with x. And on the right side, we have 83 minus 44, which is 39. So our answer is that she bought 39 books at a yard sale. Okay. For number 3, Sally's high school played 15 football games this year. The team won most of their games. They were defeated during 4 games. How many games did they win? So pulling out important information, we know that they played 15 football games. And they were defeated during 4 football games. So our total number of games is 15. And we know that they played X amount of games, because that's what we're trying to find, and that they lost 4 games. Okay. So now we want to get X by itself. In order to do that, we need to do the inverse operation. Actually, this is just an easier one to do this way. They played 15 games. Okay. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. So, the inverse operation would be to subtract. So we subtract 4 from both sides. We're going to get X by itself. And then we have 15 minus 4, which is 11. So 11 equals X. So they won 11 games. Number 4. After eating at the restaurant, Mike, Fred, and Tom decided to divide the bill evenly. Each person paid $35. What was the total of the bill? So we know that there's Mike, Fred, and Tom, which is 3 people. So that's how many people divided the bill. So each person paid $35. So we have this one's a little different because they're dividing the bill 3 ways. So if they each paid $35, that's 35 one time, 35 2 times, 35 3 times. So we do 35 times 3 to figure out the total of the bill. And 35 times 3 is 105. So the total of the bill was 105. Okay, so number 5. Keith found 91 seashells on the beach. He gave Melanie some of his shells. He has 43 seashells left. How many seashells did he give Melanie? So we know the total number of seashells is 91. So our total number is 91. And then he gave some to Melanie. And he has 43 seashells left. So the 43 shells he has left plus the ones he gave to Melanie, which is our variable, it's how many we need to figure out what it is, equals 91. So again, we look for inverse operations. We have plus 43 connected to the x, so we're going to subtract 43. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side. So our plus 43 and our minus 43 cancel each other out. And then our 91 minus 43 equals 48. So x equals 48. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to go ahead and do for today. It says Alyssa had 25 peaches left at her roadside fruit stand. She went to the orchard and picked more peaches to stock up the stand. There are now 91 peaches at the stand. How many did she pick? So we know that she started with 25. She picked more. And now she has a 91. So our equation would be she started with 25. When you add more, it's addition. So plus x equals our total now of 91. So that's what your equation should look like. Now to solve, we have to do the inverse. So over here we're connected by plus 25, so we're going to subtract 25. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other, so we're also going to subtract 25 from this side as well. Our plus 25 and minus 25 cancel each other out, leaving us with just x on the left side. And on the right side, we have 91 minus 25, which is 66. So the answer would be that she picked 66 more peaches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop for today. If you have any questions about your work, please feel free to email me. And if I don't hear from you, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you all next week.